we were riding back from Bangkok. Then we were from Chumphon heading towards Hat Yai. I think we were just outside Hat Yai lah. Raining, Tapi rain dah subside lah. But the road is wet lah. So we all like riding chopper, hands up, and then holding lah, like that, because the water going splashing. Then I look at the corner of my eye for the right, this auntie in the scooter like looking at me funny. What the hell are you doing?
The macho guys.
Yeah, macho. Auntie like scooter, relax.
Hello, Asep. Welcome to our What's Your Story series, where we get our friends to share about their love for cars and how the journey began. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your origin stories?
Darren, thanks for having me over. This is actually my second podcast I've ever done. So this is all new to me.
We're honored.
Yeah. Well, my journey for cars, I think, started early on, but it's a bit unconventional. It's my first car, I think, was a Volkswagen Beetle, 1966. It was cheap. It was something I could afford. Looked kind of cool, so I chose it. It was not happy motoring 24/7, but it got me from point A to point B, and I thought I looked cool. So yeah, I think that's how it started. Really, yeah, just out of necessity more than anything else.
It's odd because my first car was a 1974 Volkswagen Beetle as well. Again, I completely understand when you say it may not be your most memorable moments, but it definitely was iconic for us at the time, because of the shape of the car. To have a car that you could actually move around that was different. But yeah, lots of hours and the mechanics, yeah.
But it's a car that actually defined later on what I liked about cars. Having a rear engine was something, I don't know, I've tried Japanese cars, continental cars with a front engine. But once you try something where the engine is at the back and everything is rear wheel, and on the steering wheel, you only feel the road through the tires. I think it's quite addictive. Yeah, so I've gone back and forth, Japanese cars, continental. But the rear wheel Volkswagen still pulls me in.
Okay.
Yeah, something about it, the character and everything. Yeah.
Okay. What color was your Volkswagen?
It was bronze. I think it was like I don't know if you know, what was that? 270Z, the Nissan.
Yes.
Bronze.
That classic
had,
bronze. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that bronze that came out.
It's almost like a burnt orange.
Yeah, burnt orange. So that was the color.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about what do you do now, and we'll take it from there.
Now, well, I run out of speed day to day. So out of speed takes up a lot of our time, even though the event is once a year, but curating it, figuring out new stuff for it, and planning, almost takes up a year. Well, it doesn't quite, probably like 8 months, 10 months of the year is just.
That's a year already.
Yeah. So in between that, obviously we go to other events. So that takes a lot of time on our end. But yeah, I've been lucky to be able to just focus on outer speed. I wish it made me wealthy, but it hasn't. But I can't complain. It's a balanced life, lah.
It's almost there's almost a historical origin to the automotive car scene when someone were to mention out of speed.
Yeah.
How many years has it been? It's over a decade already.
Yeah, already
right?
over a decade. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you share a little bit about how it first started and the first venue, right?
So back in 2009, I think, I opened a cafe, a small American diner in Publica. So prior to that, I was already riding Harleys. Then I think it was before I opened, the shop was called Switchblade.
Okay.
The diner.
Okay.
So I had an American car, which I still have, 1969 Chevrolet Impala. So I was riding bikes. I was into bikes, but when I bought the Chevrolet, I discovered a bit more about Americana, about the whole Southern California lifestyle, about custom culture, And then when I opened Switchblade, I delved deeper into it, because the theme of the diner, like it's American diner, kan? So
Full Americana.
so I had to learn more about what it is that I'm trying to sell, So so that ran, and then we had the opportunity to host an event at Publica because that time social and all that wasn't open yet. We were open prior to Publica opening.
Okay.
It was just that transition period. So the shops were not open. So I said, hey, why don't you do an event up here? So I said, okay, interesting. Because prior to us doing our event at the speed, there was actually nothing like what we did. Because I'm a car guy. I was a bike guy first, and just discovered a bit more about cars, the lifestyle side of it. So there were no events that married the two. I thought motorcycle culture was vibrant lah.
Yes.
Car culture, I don't know about now, but back then it was very lepak kedai kopi, titi.
Yeah. Still is, I guess.
Yeah. It lacked a bit of character lah. So I wanted to marry the two, and I was figuring out, how do I marry the two?
Yes.
And I discovered custom culture, and even though it's limited to 1950s hot rod, vintage motorcycle, choppers and all that, but I thought that philosophy would work, something that car guys, bike guys could relate to. At the end of the day, I think be it car guy or bike guy, the car is like a canvas lah.
Yes.
Is a way to self-express. I hope, I wish, but there are still different thoughts to that. Some go for a certain look, developed by others. When you buy a singer because you want a singer. But there are other people who want to imprint their own signature. So I thought something like that's how essentially Out of Speed was born, lah. And it married well with the diner that we had. And I think Southern California, when you're talking about style, it's the Mecca, lah. It's where it started, lah.
Agreed.
Salt Lake, Bonneville Flats. You want to go fast.
Yes.
So everything to me started from that. In terms of style, lah.
Yeah.
Obviously circuit racing goes way back earlier. Tapi tak juga kot. I think maybe Salt Flats started first before circuit racing.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Because they would, plus minus lah, it's around there. But so it was, and then it's easy entry. I think lifestyle is not as deep or heavy or as racing. And I just wanted to have a good time. Like I was already a biker and I had motorcycle friends, so everybody came to have a good time. It was like a block party.
Yeah.
But the underlying tone was, first is to gather all like-minded people, and second was to show this in a more positive light. Because I've always felt our hobby was a bit, there's undertones of it being underground, jahat, nakal, all that, especially bikers, right?
Yes.
So our philosophy has always been, in a positive light. Even in Publica, we were offered the black box, but I wanted the white room.
Okay.
Bright lights, everything's open.
Yes.
I think when it's open like that, people might criticize.
Yeah.
But people tend to be a bit more forgiving, or they try to understand better. instead of just closing the
Yeah.
door
Yeah.
behind a heavy door,
You can come in and take a peek now.
you're most welcome to.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and then we don't leave room for assumption lah. Yeah, so come have a look. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Yeah, it's okay. But we got nothing to hide lah. Yeah, that's kind of like how I started, I guess. Yeah.
So what gave you that inspiration to move to somewhere so much further than what was considered acceptable within the confines of Central Klang Valley to go to MIPS, and that's large,
Yeah.
right?
So first year we did at Publica.
Yeah.
Second year was Cheetah Mall.
Kita, yes.
Third was Cheetah Mall again. I think by then our crowds grew. It was out of necessity that we had to move out lah, because neighbors were complaining. There was a huge condo in front, right? Then a friend of mine actually convinced me to go to my house. Rent was very reasonable. Obviously the published rates were high lah.
Yes.
But we worked out a deal because prior to us going there, MIPS was 100% agriculture. They hosted one show every 2 years, which was Maha, the big agricultural show, and that was that. Otherwise, there were like maybe 1 or 2 weddings, never an exhibition. So we worked out a deal where we helped promote MIPS, and they in turn gave us preferential rates lah.
Yeah.
That year was quite nerve-wracking lah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because back in 2015, people were not buying tickets online.
Yeah.
I think till now people still don't really buy tickets online unless it's a concert. If it's a exhibition, people just let's see if I'm free.
Agree. So
yeah, but I've been to the show in Yokohama, the Yokohama Hot Rod Custom Show, and that's indoor. That's inside an exhibition hall. And what I realized was when you do it indoor, kind of ups the game.
It does. It does.
And we took inspiration, or actually just ripped off the show. I told Shige-san, I said, I have no reference.
Yeah.
I only know how to do outdoor. Parking and all that, how to lay it out. But I've never done a car show indoor, especially for a lifestyle, car show. So I said, can I rip you off? He said, yeah, go ahead, man. You got my blessings. So that's where we figure out the space and how we laid out cars. Because ultimately it's a car show. So the cars need to take center stage.
Yeah.
You need to see the side silhouette of a car.
Correct.
Have the opportunity to take a photo of the car at a 3/4 angle, So things like this were all consideration that we took. But at that time, yes, it's a ballsy move. But maybe we knew our strength.
Okay.
Especially community. We knew people were coming already from places like Singapore, from Penang. So even though ideally I would like to be in the center of KL, but MIPS, because it's a car show, motorcycle show, is a destination. So if you're out driving on a Sunday morning, you can make that a destination.
Correct.
Not everybody wants to drive into the city.
You're right.
You're
right.
And for our Singaporean friends, it's actually good for them because they don't have to go into the city. They can exit out. I can't remember UPM exit. Just go straight to the venue.
Yeah.
Also, it's when you do outdoor, the revenue stream they're very limited.
Of course.
And it's usually just limited to maybe some merchandise sales, booth space, that kind of stuff. But it's not business lah.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially for me, my revenue streams.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be based on the community that I'm servicing.
Okay.
So that philosophy is the driver juga lah. Moving to MIPS allowed us to charge tickets. So it's the people who come who pay. Like vendors space subsidized by us.
Yeah.
To display a car is more or less a commitment fee lah. You know, you pay less than 200 ringgit, you get t-shirt, you get a ticket, blah, 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 everything, all the privileges. So we could still do that. So when we go indoor, we can do that. You know, we don't have to monetize out of our community. Because we know they're already spending money while coming to the show, preparing their car, getting their bike ready, you know, buying this, buying that, spending this. So the last thing we want to do is tax our own community because they are our content, ma. You know. So instead of us paying for the content, here you have someone who is offering themselves to come to your show. Obviously, there is charges.
Yes.
Because when there's no transaction, it's difficult to lock people down.
Yes, correct.
You know, when
I agree. I agree. It's that commitment. Lah.
Yeah, it's a commitment fee. We don't profit out of it because, you know, considering this, especially cars, you know, car take up 6 meter by 3 meter. And if you calculate per square meter,
yes.
How much is that? You know,
correct.
Potential revenue lah if I was to just rent it out to, you know, whoever acts. But our format is, the vendor, dry goods especially, because their market pun niche.
Yeah.
You know, they're selling fashion to a specific demographic.
That's very, very niche.
So we try not to tax them too high, you know. But if you're Petronas or if you're a big brand, you know, you're supported by your principal overseas, and we know that happens. You know, you are a dealer in Malaysia, you join a show, you will ask your principal for some, you know, cash support. So yeah, those we're not quite market rate, but you know, it's significant enough that we can cover the cost of the show. So and the ticket sales lah, yeah. So it helps because it keeps us independent.
Okay.
You know, we're not bound by sponsorship. You know, if there's sponsorship, it's okay lah. You know, we have that extra revenue that we can spend.
Correct.
But if we don't, we're still all right. We're still okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, it was a ballsy move, but in the long run, it paid out. It paid off lah.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of people don't realize is there were many years that we were just losing money lah.
It takes time, right? Everything takes time.
Yeah.
You know, what sort of numbers are you looking at in terms of visitors coming in, you know, so that everyone that's on our podcast can also understand, you know, like how many cars are displayed or you know, some of the info that you can share with us. I think it's coming up soon as well.
Yeah. The upcoming show will be in July, 26 and 27 July. We occupy about 450,000 square feet.
That's huge. Yeah.
All indoor space.
Yes.
We have about 5 acres of outdoor space.
Yeah.
The show cars on this place range about 200, 300 cars.
Okay.
Bikes about there as well. Obviously, bikes, we have bikes parked outdoor as well.
Yes, correct.
You know, and cars, on Sunday, usually we have like a meet, you know, Saturday, Sunday, yes. We do offer it up to clubs, you know, Alfa Romeo, you know, they do their anniversary. Mini had their 65th anniversary. So, yeah, so we have that segment outdoor juga. Cuma, a lot of people perceive Out of Speed as being a motorcycle show. I think it's just because the guys who ride bikes look like they're cosplaying.
I think it's that custom culture.
Yeah.
And if I may say, custom culture for bikes is a lot stronger here than it will be for cars.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that too, but it's hard to differentiate the average consumer with a car owner.
Yep.
Because there's no real fashion
Correct.
to define you as a car owner. You know?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like just getting together. I think that's one of our pillars. You know, that coming together. Yeah, that coming together, having an environment that's safe, that's positive.
Yeah.
A lot of good vibes, you know, plenty of spots for you to hang out.
Yeah.
Look at things. Yeah, that's the driver for other speed lah.
What are some of the highlights that we can expect for the upcoming Out of Speed?
Difficult to say because we're still working on stuff. You know, there's something about familiarity
Okay.
which also works.
Okay.
You know, the new stuff, I think, are just a bit of
Salt and pepper.
salt and pepper lah.
Yeah.
To me lah.
Okay.
You know, because for example, I go to the Yokohama Hot Rod Show, right, or even Tokyo to Salon.
Yeah.
It's the same format every year, and people still go.
I think 80-90% also very similar in terms of the layout
Yeah,
and the
and
cars and everything. Yeah.
there is something about familiarity. So we're not really focused on what's new, what's latest, what's new, because we can never catch up. And when people start talking about what's new, what's latest, you cannot ignore EV, for example, which is very difficult for me to go into.
I'm waiting for an EV custom booth.
Yeah, it's like so. Because we are not a typical motor show. We are not KL motor show. We're not Malaysia motor show. We're not there to provide you the latest and greatest. Ours is more tradition, improving. I prefer to focus on improving what we've done. Visitor experience, blah blah. Maybe add on more vendors and stuff like that. So there's more eye candy. Even for cars, it's difficult sometimes because things like RWB, we've had that like since 10 years ago.
Correct.
So we can't be chasing trends all the time, so it happened, at the end of the day, that happened because there was this friend, blah, 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 it was more organic lah. Yeah. So Other Speed, I think, is a very, very organic show.
People came together because of connections, right?
Yeah. It's more of that. When we're talking to, it depends on which audience we're talking to, though.
Correct.
Because demographic is always an important thing for us, and we try to get them in as early as possible, into our scene.
Yep.
So music is a driver for that. When somebody talks to me about what's new for this year, yes, that there's music, there's this band, that band, this band. But we're still negotiating all this. But what we've come to realize was there's a key component. That's something that we can bridge that certain brands can't.
Agree.
For me, anyway, it's like, for example, Harley Davidson. If they were to do an event and they invite bands which are like really young, then their audience cannot relate. Their audience are still expecting AC/DC,
Correct.
Def Leppard. But for Out of Speed, we have this flexibility, of not just, we understand the Harley Davidson community and what they want, what they need to have a good time, but we also have the flexibility of catering to this audience, which are young.
Okay.
They're looking for aspiration, inspiration. So we try to position the show in that sense, like, yeah.
Got it. You have a lot of work coming up, man. Fantastic. Okay. What's in your garage right now?
I have a 67 fastback.
Okay.
VW Type 3.
Yeah.
So that was done by Farouk Autosport. So I wouldn't say it's a full bill, but in terms of performance upgrades, I've almost done almost everything. I think it has Willwood brakes, Koni suspensions. Ismail is asking me to upgrade those. He says those are rubbish, but okay. It has a 2.1 liter individual throttle body, fuel injected system by Farouk. So that's one. So that's a fun car. Takes a bit of patience because you need to warm it up, blah blah blah. It's that kind of car. I have a VW bus type 2, a 1971 that's lifted. So it's like a camper, not camper. It's like a day tripper kind of setup. I have a bed,
Okay.
but it's not too heavy that it's a full-on camper.
Didn't you have a full-on camper 2 years back? You bought a large one, right?
Yeah,
I
but
remember you making your trips on it.
yeah, true. But that one I never turned it a camper. It's a 13-seater
Yes,
Ford Transit.
yes, correct.
It's huge. But what I love about it is it's very flexible. So I can have 13-seater. I can have 4-seater. We were in Singapore, so we just came back from that. So we loaded it with all our stuff. Went to Singapore, did a pop-up. So it has that flexibility.
It's a home.
Yeah.
It's a home.
So when we go riding to Thailand, that's the big backup vehicle. So I can load my bikes if anything happens. Ford Transit 2015, which I bought in 2017, brand new. Then I have a Lotus.
Okay.
A Lotus Elite 78
Okay.
with a complete S2K drivetrain.
Oh, nice.
So F20C, 6-speed,
Okay.
box and final drive.
Okay.
F20C. That one, no plans yet. It's just sitting in the corner. It's completely made. It was a project that somebody abandoned. Guy went back to UK during the pandemic, so I bought it. But that is a complete race car already. So probably get it running again, take it to the track or something. Because, art of speed kan. So speed tu kena ada. Yeah. Then I have my 69 Impala, 4-door sports sedan. I have my daily, the first generation HRV.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. What about bikes?
Bikes.
Ahaha.
Bikes, I have 2009 Harley Davidson Dyna.
Okay.
That's my, that's the one that it's easy for me if I want to go anywhere, long distance or whatever. I have a 1951 chopper.
Okay.
Harley Davidson Padhead.
Yeah.
1951. There was a real hardtail, no suspension, nothing. I have a R90. I bought just before the pandemic. That's pretty fun because I've always wanted something, a taller bike. So that's like a scrambler,
Okay.
and it's 1200cc, so it has a lot of torque. So when you ride Harley, Harley 1600, you ride a 600, 900, right? Like it has to be like 1002. Then this, you have that,
Got at the pool.
I have the pool. I got a 2-stroke scrambler, Suzuki TS250. That's a classic 1979. A Yamaha DT125, C70. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
It's a lot of cars and a lot of bikes that you have.
Well, not everyone running, but
Yes.
but it's a nightmare lah. When you look at the JPJ app, man.
Yeah.
Then you realize, this one
Banyak sangat.
mati,
Tak jalan.
this one rotek mati. Yeah.
If you could own any car, past or present, what would it be?
Man, I don't know really. Like I'm always at a dilemma. Macam Porsche lah.
Okay.
Porsche, G-body Porsche ke apa kan. It's beautiful. Even apa tu? Prior to the 964 is
928s?
the 911 series.
Yeah.
Beautiful to look at,
Yeah.
but not much power.
Yep.
Versus new Porsche,
Oh, completely different.
completely different animal. So I've never had a real dream car kot. I don't know. I will like no because it's difficult. It's such a big trade-off.
Yeah.
Because like a modern 911, it's like you can use all that power.
You want all that day-to-day usability, all that power on tap. But you want the classic shit.
Yes, probably. Yeah, resto mod lah.
So
Something like a singer.
there's a singer
kot.
lah.
Yeah.
Budget lain sikit lah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think so. Because car ni dia bukan macam motor tau. Car, everything has to work.
Yes.
Yeah, everything has to work well.
Yes.
You know, and then when you hop to a more modern
Yeah,
car,
yeah.
you feel like the old car is rubbish, man. It's rubbish.
I'm sure when you compare between a G body Porsche and your HRV, right? You know which one drives easy?
But I feel like cars to me lah is I don't know. There is a very occasion. You know, it's a mana? Yang macam you
It must have the feel for it. It must it's a timing for a specific type of car. That's why we have
cars
multiple
to
cars,
me
right?
look better parked. You know, okay, sorry lah, but I like that. Nah, macam okay, you drive a car. Okay, you wanna experience the outdoors. Okay, you drive a car with air conditioning, kan? Aircon, protected from the weather. You arrive at the location waterfall. Then you sense being outdoor. Tapi motorcycle ni, on the way, you already in the nature ni. You know, you're on the bike, you're in the nature, wind, hail, storm, whatever, and then in the nature. So I don't know. I mean, but cars are beautiful. Yeah, it is undeniable lah. Cuma cars, maybe for me, I I I like to tweak. You know, honestly, I prefer to ride. Yeah, cars for me, I like to see. Yeah, when the car is parked, I feel like, wih, lawa siut. Bikes don't do that. Bikes dia tak berapa lawa kan. You know, it's quite two wheel. It's the design is done to death a bit. But with cars, there's so many details. You know, from the interior to your exterior, pop-up headlights, no pop-up headlights. It's very beautiful to look at.
Agree.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I'm a car guy in a different sense of the word lah.
You're a car and a bike guy. Yeah, yeah. And that's your struggle. You know, which one wants to come out at the same time, right?
Yeah. But cars are very practical lah. You know, I can, load my wife, my daughter. We can have a good time too. Bike is very solitude lah. It's very me time. Yeah.
Where do you see the future of cars heading in the next decade?
EV will be around lah.
Yeah.
I've never driven an EV, so I don't know what it feels like to drive. Some people say it's cumbersome lah, blah blah blah. So I guess it's gonna be like a daily thing lah. It'll probably replace the Vios, the Camry, and all that kind of stuff. Tapi I think for combustion engine, itu pun dia macam trend lah. I don't know how to predict. Sebab dia macam, I think early 2000s kot. The cars like big CC suddenly. 3.2, 4.8, 6 point whatever, 6.3. C-Class kot, 6.3. Kan? Then lepas tu dia dorong,
2 liter.
2 liter
turbo with hybrid motors.
So I think dia akan based on trend je lah. It will not, it's not like set direction.
Correct.
It will forever just change.
I think you have so many different types of people, demographics, and drivers that it's hard to go completely in one direction. The EV trend is strong because the cars are very well equipped. They have a lot of good things about them. But at the same time, people in the combustion demographic, they'll never give up their cars.
Malaysia, we are very, we adopt technology very quick.
Yes.
I think that's why we are always high spec. If you compare Thailand ke Indonesia ke apa, kita lah paling high spec lah. Because we love gadgets. So, in Malaysia, I think the trend will forever be that way lah. We love, because Malaysia, we're not price sensitive. We want to know how much we're paying a month. So, if the loan can stretch 9 years, even better. Because, the price is irrelevant. The option can be 10,000 ringgit more. But if it's only 200 ringgit a month extra, I'll take it lah. So I think Malaysia, if you're asking me about trend, where it's heading to, I think gadget will.
Okay. So cars that equip a lot of tech.
Yeah, for car guys, yeah.
Could you describe a funny moment with your car or your bike?
My Beetle lah, my first Beetle. So it's very distinct, burnt orange. Everybody knows that's my car. So this was in Penang. I was working in Penang. So every time I break down, someone would SMS me. And it's often, Penang Bridge lah, whatever. Wait, okay. Then they are like, don't know where. They're still texting me like, are you holding up traffic? It's always that kind of shit. So, yeah, it's always that. It's always that. And then like, when you're riding a chopper like me, you're crossing borders and all that. It's not 100% legal, man. So, we're always crossing 7 a.m., 6 a.m. So, yeah, the occasion, sometimes I look back, I'm like, why am I troubling myself so much?
High risk, high risk, high
No,
reward.
but the best moment was we were riding back from Bangkok. Like chopper, no front mudguard, all macho, no mudguard. Then we were from Chumpon heading towards Hanyai. I think we just outside Hanyai lah. Raining, Tapi rain dah subside lah. But the road is wet lah. So we all like riding chopper, hands up, and then holding lah, like that, because the water going splashing. Right? Then I look at the corner of my eye from the right, this auntie in the scooter like looking at me funny. What the hell are you doing?
The macho guys.
Yeah, macho. Auntie like scooter, relax. Yeah, so that was ridiculous lah, because we couldn't see shit, because
The reality of it.
we were wearing goggles, glasses.
Yes.
But
all
then,
basah.
yeah, all basah. And then the front wheel was picking up oil, residue oil, right? So the glass was all like rainbow. You cannot see. Struggling at 60, That was the
Classic,
beats the cake lah.
Oh, dude. Okay. How has car culture, or in your case, custom culture, influenced your life? Were there any specific movies or TV shows or books that sort of gave you that spark as well?
Oh, I think undeniably Fast and Furious was, like wow until I think Tokyo Drift kot. This was like wow.
Before we went to space and everything else?
Yeah, we went to space, yeah. I thought it was like cool lah, But I think looking at magazines, the Volkswagen scene really influenced me a lot, like.
Okay.
Because I was buying a lot of magazines, Volkswagen magazines, and the beauty about Volkswagen, you see all sides of the. You have German look, very high tech. It's still a Beetle, but very high tech, race inspired, blah blah blah. Then you have the SoCal, DKP, whatever, like. Yeah, so I think that heavily influenced me. Yeah, and I think my entire, I think racing as well, F1, I was like always
These were
amazed.
inspirations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
We're going to move on to this next segment, and we call it the rapid fire questions. So you have like, 2-3 seconds to answer them. All right. First question. What's your ideal car?
Ideal car. I think 2+2 good.
A 2+2.
So I can bring my daughter, something. I think that would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
What color would it be?
Shit. I'm like black. It's so boring.
What's your ideal weekend?
Oh, my ideal weekend is to go out for a ride lah. But I don't know. I mean, I've come to an age where I'm not big fan of morning rides and all the Sunday morning. Now, I prefer long, extended 10-day road trips. Yeah. So ideal weekend for me, like probably staying at home, watching it on Netflix.
What, in your opinion, is the most overrated car?
I think anything old that looks pretty, drives like shit, doesn't brake, doesn't connect.
Spoken like someone who has them, right?
Yeah. I think
the look and the actual experience can be quite different, right?
Yeah, they look very chanty, Even my Impala, the 69,
Yeah.
I have to plan, no. Like, okay, where am I going to park this? It's like 22 feet long, you know. As I have to, it's all these old cars, memang overrated lah actually. But it's cool lah.
It is. It's got all the vibes. It looks good. It looks good parked as well, right?
It
Yeah.
looks good parked.
What's the most underrated car?
Whoa. I think modern cars. I think we've come to a point in time. My wife bought a Honda City lah. It has ADAS lah. It's self-drive lah.
Everything,
You don't have to do anything.
Yes.
I just like put a finger whenever it tells me to.
Yeah.
When it doesn't tell me to put finger, I just put myself. But modern cars have come such a long way, and at a price point which is unimaginable 10 years ago. 10 years ago,
I agree.
Yeah, I think now
these technology only available in the Continentals.
correct.
And you pay 3-4 times the price, right? Yeah.
500,000.
Yes, correct.
600,000. Now
Correct.
it's like entry level Honda City when you get all the bells and whistles. So
Even the Myvi gets everything already. Yeah.
So I think now is the best time.
Okay.
For modern cars.
Which is more important to you, the car's interior or exterior?
Wow. I think exterior. I'm very basic interior. Maybe because a lot of influence from older cars. So it's 3 dials. That's it. But the exterior silhouette too, I think is you wanna look at it, yeah?
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I think introvert ke? I think so lah. Yeah,
Hence
I don't
your quiet
really-
weekends, yeah?
yeah. Quiet weekend, yeah. I used to be extrovert lah, maybe. But now it's like,
We've dialed it
age.
in a real ways, right?
dialed it down.
Final question. What's your favorite hobby?
I think hanging out at garage. I love that.
Okay.
Because I have zero skill lah. I can lah. Range a bit. But just hanging out.
Watching people work.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a hobby. Because I'm living my hobby.
Okay.
That's my privilege. I'm living my hobby. So everything else that I do that brings joy to that, is a hobby lah, I guess. Is a plus point to the hobby lah.
Answer me this. What would be the one thing most people would not know about you?
I'm very detailed.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people think maybe I go with the flow ke apa ke.
So you're a closet OCD, yeah?
Yeah, kinda, yeah. I like to plan shit out. I like to see results of a plan. So riding with me sometimes or driving with me can be, I can be an asshole lah. Hey, you're touching go lah. So yeah, I may look like chill chopper.
Actually, the plans
Yeah,
the
the
checklist.
The checklist lah. That's maybe some people don't realize. Yeah.
Well, I think that comes to the end of our podcast. And
Okay.
thank you, Asep, for being with us
No
today.
problem, man.
It's
My
a
pleasure.
having you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
I'm Asep. Thank you, Darren, for the interview. Enjoy this podcast. Now it's your time to tell us what's your story.